Well, recorded, right? So that's come on. What is? And this light needs to burn. Hello, hello, yeah. And now it's gone. God damn it! Come on. Yeah, no, I'm okay. Yeah. Matthew from Something Natural. I always go here a couple of times when I'm in Nantucket. And I want to know what's hot in town. What's everybody in Nantucket talking about?
I think the natives are restless. They're talking about the 40B and growth and traffic.
40B growth?
Well, 40B is bypassing zoning. So if you give a certain percentage of your housing is affordable, like 25%, then 75% can be market rate.
Okay, so if you, in Nantucket, there's lots. These houses are incredible, right? I mean, there is like 50,000 people in the summer, which means 20,000 houses, which means $1 million a piece at least. So it's 20 billion euro in real estate. And if you want to build
or
more, because some houses are 25.
Yeah, they're more.
They're 3 million. Okay, so there's 20,000 houses times 3 million is 60 billion in real estate. So it's in a little island. And if you want to build more, it's not so easy. You have to get zoning.
Well, you have to get the zoning, and the 40B bypasses zoning.
Yes. So 40B, then you have to have 25% affordable housing. How much is affordable housing? How much would that be in Nantucket?
Oh, boy, it would be 700,000, 600,000 American.
Affordable housing is $700,000 for a house. Yeah, and then you have to do 25, and the rest can be market price, and the average house is 3 million. So, and I see everywhere I see signs about traffic.
Well, that's what they're worried about. They're worried about the impacts of this much density on one small lot. Mm-hmm. And they don't like that these people are going to have different rules. They're going to have different rules than they have to have. Yeah. So I think, but the interesting part
Where is that? That is
on the way to Surfside.
Yeah. Like the way to Surfside, and there's 13 hectares is going to be, built upon, and then 25% is going to be affordable, and the rest is going to be expensive, and that will cost 800 extra trucks or cars.
Well, that's what they're saying. Yeah, it's 2 point something cars per house. Yeah. And we're growing at like 200, 300 homes a year. So we're already adding 500 cars a year. Yeah. So traffic, things that people were thinking were good for the island, like, oh, this growth is great. Yeah. And we talked about limitations like 20 years ago, and no one wanted to talk about it. Yeah.
But isn't there also, don't people also want to have houses for their kids? Because it must be really expensive to have houses for their kids.
They do, but they don't sell them to them. A lot of them don't sell them to their kids. They'll sell it to the highest bidder. Yeah. If we would just had houses for our kids, we wouldn't have this situation.
So don't you want affordable housing for your kids as the islanders?
You do. Okay. But in order to do that, you have to, in my opinion, you have to have a guardrail on the price. There has to be. If you don't guarantee it's affordable, it won't be.
Yeah. Okay. So that is a big thing. Will it pass? And when is the decision?
It will pass in some regards. The decision isn't ours. The decision is the state. Oh. So the island is we're all united against it at this point. I think what will happen, hopefully, is developers that are doing it. One of who lives on island and one's a summer guy. Hopefully, they'll go back to the drawing board and come back with something that's more acceptable, with more affordability, because they can still make their money, but with more affordability and less density and less impact on the island. Yeah.
There are no stoplights in Nantucket, and and people complain about gridlock, and they have to stay 5 minutes in line. This was really, it's really fun to see the islanders up in arms, and you're also against it.
Again? Oh yeah, yes.
Okay. Yes. Okay.
So, it's funny. Like we need to we have to figure out how to get people out of their cars in the summer. Mm-hmm. It's beautiful weather. It's perfect weather. Yeah. Why aren't you on a bike? Why aren't you walking?
I bike every time. I'm the only one from Amsterdam biking, but nobody else is biking. It's really, every year they have biggest cars.
Yeah, completely bigger cars, and they park on the sidewalks, and they don't bike. So we're like, as a select board, we're trying to figure out how to get people to do alternatives.
What is the select board?
We're kind of like the town fathers. There's 5 of us. Okay. But I can't call us town fathers anymore. We used to be called the Board of Selectmen, and this year we turned into the Select Board. Okay.
So Select Board. But what is your neutral? Yeah. What is your rights? What kind of decisions do you take?
We are basically the policy makers for the town. Mm-hmm. Like we're I don't know what you call it in Amsterdam, but
Municipality board or something like
yeah,
that.
municipal board. Yeah, that's the word. Yeah.
So that is hot, and you say it's not your decision. You have to basically work with the state, but you can make their lives pretty difficult, right? If you don't like it, the project.
Everyone's making their lives pretty difficult right now. So I think that's the signs, and the island is united right now, trying to figure out how do you accommodate so many people in a way that's still enjoyable and a place people want to be.
Question: if you have like 60 billion euro in real estate and you have taxes, and I have the most smallest house in the whole damn world, and I pay $12,000. We pay $12,000 in taxes for the high school. Aren't you an amazingly rich municipality? Because you have so much taxes. I mean,
in some ways we are, in some ways we aren't. It's interesting. We have a high valuation, but we have a low tax rate. It can only go up 2.5% a year. Mm-hmm. It's limited unless you do an override, unless you all vote to do it. And the average wage here is not. It's not like Boston. It's not like a place where people all pay $12,000 a year. It's more like the Western Mass. Yeah. So our ability to pay those taxes for the average islander is not that high the year round.
But I would say you get your money from tourists and not from the people who live here.
We do. But you can't just raise, because there's a thought of like just raise the taxes on everybody because we get so much from the rich guys, but then you're raising it on a bunch of people that have a hard time paying already. Okay. So it's a balancing act that we're trying to.
But I mean, what is your total budget here for the island?
Oh we're 100 million, 120 million a year.
120 million. I just saw the high school. The high school was completely redone. I mean, it'd been unbelievable beautiful.
Well, that's the middle school. The high school is still, but it's yeah.
But the high school is beautiful too, with a beautiful feeder, and now the middle school is also amazing.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Yeah, it's beautiful, and we've shifted. Like we are very, like the Nantucket is now very ethnic. Like we have 60 different languages in the school. I mean, people from all over the world come here and work and live here year round.
Yes, it's true. I mean, we had Turkish people, lots of Romanians who come here, and I mean, everybody loves doing summer jobs here, and they also stay around for the rest of the year. They also have kids now.
Yeah, they have kids, and you go out to the soccer league, and it's Costa Ricans and Guatemalans and Brazilians, and they got a bunch of people from Nepal now. Yeah, like it's interesting how they've found the island.
Okay, and do you have a lot of problems with immigration? That people don't like immigration on this island? I mean, we're from Holland. We have a lot of immigrations and things, but it seems like this country has a little problem with immigration. But how is that on the island?
We don't seem to have a bunch of. If we couldn't run the island without these, without the people coming to do the work, and I think Nantucket has a history of it, being ahead on racial issues. We segregated our schools earlier. We've had
segregated or non-segregated.
Non-segregated. We turn it around. We desegregated, whatever they call it. Desegregated our schools earlier, and so there were black sea captains back in the day, and there were people coming from the islands back to here. So it's Nantucket's got a history of being a little more lenient. That's true. Than what you might read about in the Midwest.
So I can totally. It's a very nice atmosphere here, and then but it is really the country, the island where the 0.1% lives. So it's really, you have such big, huge differences. So this 100 million, is that more than enough to make the island go around to run the island yearly?
I hope so. We're doing pretty well. Yeah. But there's a lot of expenses on our way, so there's some big expenses. Okay.
What else is hot? What about the island? The cliff. Is it still an issue?
Oh, you mean Sconset Beach? Yeah, that's a huge issue. Yeah. What do you do against global warming? What do you do with sea level rise? And we're dealing with that. That's a tough discussion.
Yeah. I meet all these people who just see their houses getting closer to the sea and have to move them and that kind of stuff. So global warming is an issue here. A practical issue.
It's happening. We can see it, and we see bigger storms, and we see a couple more storms a year, and you can tell at certain tides it's definitely different. Yeah, okay. So we can tell.
Okay. And what about the council? Is it Republican or Democrat, or is it local parties?
I say we're all local. I don't think we're very national. No.
So you also don't have those huge, disputes between each other?
We do, but the disputes would be sort of it's sort of philosophical. Do you believe, do you believe in just growing the island as fast as possible and all of us pay for it?
Yeah.
Or do you want to do it in a controlled manner and ask the people who are causing the impacts to pay for it? Those are kind of our split. We don't split like Republican, Democrat so much.
No. And you basically have a drink afterwards with each other.
Pretty much, yeah. We get along very well.
Anything else new?
I just think the island is, we as an island aren't like that, but I think the island is this time of year, like you've talked to some people here this summer, that's, like you said, it's the top 1% of 1%. We had a candidate for one of the first candidates for the next presidency. A Democrat was here a couple days ago. I don't know. John Delaney from down in Maryland was.
Yeah, and he basically comes here to get to drum up some support. Hey, I know something new. The hospital. That was the huge fundraising. Everybody was complaining that everybody had to pay huge amount of millions for the hospital. Did they raise the money?
They've pretty much, I think.
How much?
And I can't remember. 100 and I would be guessing.
Yeah, but more than 100 million. I mean, I met one guy who spent 10 million, who sponsored it for 10 million. Ooh. And so one guy sponsored 10 million for a hospital. That's.
Did you thank him? Thank you very much.
Yeah. It was just interesting. Where do you spend your money? Because he's going to have a name on one of the wings or something like that. That's then the ultimate thing here.
Have you heard of the Nantucket project? You would love that.
Oh yeah, the Nantucket project. Yeah, sort of a TED Talk event where a bunch of people come together, and it's you have to pay $3,000 or $4,000, but it's really very inspirational speakers and that kind of stuff. Yeah, I would like that.
That's what I'm saying. I think you would, because
I'd like to present there.
Your blog. I think you would like to present.
I'd like to present at the Nantucket project.
Yeah, get Tom on you. Get Tom to look.
Okay, so next year when I come here, we have a new hospital. That's has to be done in January, right? So then you have a very nice hospital here in Nantucket. And for the rest, life is great.
Yeah, life is good here. It's middle of the summer. It's good weather. No complaints. Lots of bread, lots of sandwiches.
Yeah. And the sandwiches are fantastic. They're $10 each for half a sandwich, right? Yes. Yeah, half a sandwich is $10 here, but they're huge. They're huge sandwiches. And you've been having this place here for how long?
Oh, this is my 30-something year, 35th.
And every day there's a huge line, and my kids want to go here every day, and you have something great running. Okay, thank you, Matthew. See you next year.
Thank you very much. Good to see you.